You're watching Nerdosity.
What's up, YouTube? You're watching Nerdosity.
And I have my parents with me again. Today, we're going to be doing Am I the Butthole stories. We're going to do 6 stories, and then we're going to comment, and then that'll be it. Ready? So, the first one is, am I the jerk for bringing my sister-in-law's wallet to the restaurant when she conveniently always forgets it?
Nope.
That's the end of the story?
No.
All right.
That's just the title. The person who's talking is 28. Sister-in-law Amy is 26. They're both female. Always comes to visit from out of town. She stays with us instead of a hotel and always wants to go to expensive restaurants. She always conveniently forgets her wallet or comes up with some excuses as to why she can't pay her share. She has implied that since I make much more money than her, I should be the one to pay. And no, not my husband should pay, but me specifically. I do make a fair amount of money, but not so much that I can treat someone every single time they come into town. Nonetheless, in the past, I have just paid the bill and asked her to pay me back. She never has. She had made a reservation at an extremely expensive restaurant last night, and before we left, I made it clear that I wouldn't be paying her bill. This is where I might be the jerk. As we were leaving, her and my husband went to the car. I pretended I forgot something and went back inside. I found her wallet sitting right on top of her suitcase. I put it in my purse and we went to the restaurant. When we were done eating, I asked for separate bills. She said no, we need one bill because she forgot her wallet again. I reached in my purse and said, "This wallet?"
I love it.
She was extremely furious. She said that I should not have touched or grabbed her wallet. So, am I the butt for taking her wallet and bringing it to the restaurant?
Nope. I'm conveniently letting you remember that you forgot your wallet. I think it's genius.
What do you think, Dad?
I'm in agreement, but I mean, now, someone comes to visit me, I'm going to want to try and pay for the supper, but I'm certainly not going to let them dictate where we go for supper.
Right. No, she was conveniently going to every expensive restaurant in the area.
That's why it was fantastic that her wallet happened
miraculously
to
showed up
Yeah.
in her purse.
Yeah.
Well, I got good news for you.
I
got your wallet.
That's okay.
And even
You
better
can
news,
pay.
you're gonna pay for yours.
Right. Some person commented and said, "You're not the jerk, but you totally should have flipped the switch. Left your wallet at home, only brought your license so she had to cover the whole bill, and then never taken her out to a restaurant again." That's what someone said. I think that would be a little too much, but here, I have your wallet now.
Not necessarily, but
I just wouldn't have gone to that expensive restaurant.
No, I wouldn't have
Said,
done
hey,
that.
it's expensive.
you go.
You let me know how it is
How
when
it
you
is.
get back.
I'm not going.
You go and
Then
let
it
me know.
forces her to pay for her own meal unless she's like, "Oh no, wait, we could just go somewhere
She
else."
went somewhere else. She
Yeah.
conveniently said, "Oh no, we'll just have one bill because I forgot mine."
Right, every
that's too
single
convenient.
time. Yeah. Am I the jerk for being mad my boyfriend won't make noodles the way I like? Okay, this sounds dumb, but hear me out. I have always been a picky eater, especially when it comes to tomatoes. Ever since I was a kid, my dad would make my spaghetti different from the rest of the house. I like having an essence of the sauce flavor on the noodles, but not the overpowering flavor of having noodles bathed in sauce. Here's where it gets a bit odd. My dad would separate my spaghetti from the families after putting the sauce on, and then would rinse off the sauce with the sink and a strainer. I love noodles like this, as it's a nice subtle tomato vibe given to the mild spaghetti. She's 20 and her boyfriend is 26. And he's known about this since we first started dating. He always told me my food habits were cute. We have been dating for almost 3 years now and moved in together at the beginning of the pandemic so we could be on lockdown together. Ever since we moved in together, he insisted on taking charge of cooking and all cooking related tasks, dishes, grocery, etc. And he assigned me to the role of cleaning the bulk of the apartment. We split other tasks pretty much 50-50. Everything was perfect, and he always seemed to be making the noodles the way I liked them when we had them. This was until last week when we last had spaghetti. We ate everything, and it was good. But afterwards, he started teasing me, saying things like, "You really like your pasta with an essence of tomato," and "How was your tomato essence, babe?" Always using finger quotes around the word essence. After a few comments, I felt something was off and asked him if he had done something differently with tonight's noodles than he usually does, and he started laughing. When he finally stopped laughing, he told me the whole truth, while smirking. He said, I didn't do anything different than I usually do. I have never been making it the way you requested. Apparently, the entire time we've been living together, he's just been skipping the pasta sauce on my noodles entirely. He claimed that if I didn't notice for this long, then it shouldn't matter that he's making dinner in the way that's easier for him. I disagree entirely. I think the lying was a huge breach of trust, and so was the refusal to make the dinner how I wanted. I have admittedly been acting passive-aggressively to him since, but he thinks he did nothing wrong, and that I'm overreacting, and I just need to let it go. Am I the jerk?
He didn't want to waste food.
I say yes because clearly you did not notice that it wasn't there.
Right, so clearly
How
the
do you not
tomato
notice
sauce
there's
wasn't
no
doing
tomato
anything.
sauce?
Because I'm
Because
with
you
her.
buy
Buy
Pushes
a
it
pasta.
off.
I know, but it still has the stuff on it. I mean, them just plain old noodles.
Yeah, and she
That's
didn't know the
nasty.
difference.
I agree. I think eating noodles,
With plain.
and that's what you do. You give me like 5 pounds of noodles and then put like an ounce of sauce right in the middle of it.
Are you trying to say like I'm like that girl?
No, you just a little stingy on the sauce.
He asked for a little bit of sauce, y'all. Trying to act like he asked for a lot of sauce.
I actually, you know, I'm torn between the two because he obviously was lying to her the entire time and then
And
making
then he was a
actually
jerk
making
about it.
fun of the fact that she
She
was
had
completely oblivious to the
it.
fact that she hadn't had their essence. So I would say that he was the jerk. He was a jerk. But she should be clued into the fact she doesn't really need anybody to go through the process of putting the sauce on and then rinsing it off.
Right.
Which is silly
It
anyway.
is very silly.
So,
You have the option
She
of
can
saying
just buy
everyone
some
sucks here.
tomato noodles.
however, you know, at the end of the day, if he's going to demand that he takes care of cooking and all that,
You gotta
And
do
she
it.
then
likes
he's
it a
then
certain
he's
way.
the jerk. He's the jerk in the end because he's not letting her do it. So if she really insists on having it her way, I'd let her cook her own.
Yeah. Someone said, everyone sucks here. You both sound dreadful, to be honest. It's like the idea that putting pasta sauce on noodles and then rinsing it off would leave an essence of tomato flavor is objectively ridiculous. And more importantly, a really shockingly disgusting waste of pasta sauce.
It is objectively ridiculous, and it is a waste of pasta sauce.
Yeah.
I agree entirely with that comment.
And then they also said, your boyfriend is a butt, not for refusing to waste pasta sauce, but for being a butt about it and mocking you.
No, I disagree with that. He was a jerk because he lied to her.
Yeah.
For who knows how long they've been, however many
Three
however
years,
many
I think.
spaghetti dinners they've
I
had.
can't believe she's never
And then-
been in there and seen him
And
put
yeah.
the sauce on there.
Right.
That's the crazy part.
And then someone else commented, what's the odds that Dad's essence of tomato sauce was also in fact plain pasta?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm in agreement with that.
Am I the butt for saying again after my sister announced that she's pregnant with twins? Okay, this person is 21 female and her sister 32 female has been married to her husband 33 male for 8 years. They already have 6 kids total, the last one born 5 months ago. Yesterday, my sister had announced that she's 3 months pregnant from 5 months ago? That's possible?
Yeah, they got pregnant right
Gee.
after.
And while everyone was congratulating her, I said out loud, oh my gosh, again? Can't your stupid husband leave you alone? That's what they said. I didn't mean to say it out loud, but it slipped out, and my sister looked at me angrily and literally dragged me into another room and asked, why did you say that? I told her that she and her husband have been pregnant every year for the last 8 years, and that she needs to take a break. I was worried about her having so many babies in such a short time, and I didn't want anything bad happening to her. She then said, how about you leave us alone and worry about your own stuff? This is my life, so leave it alone. My mother told me that I should apologize for being rude, but I told her that I won't apologize for showing concern. But now I just can't help thinking that maybe I was being the butt and sticking my nose into other people's business. I was just worried, but maybe I was being a jerk. Am I the butt?
I'll answer first. 100% you were the jerk.
Yeah.
And 100% I doubt that you were really sincerely concerned about your sister. You just, for whatever reason, objected to the fact that she was having more children.
Right.
Like, it is none of your
Well, it
business
is
once
not-
whatsoever.
Not a good thing to get pregnant right after. I mean, your body does need a rest.
Well,
So,
and
For the
she
last
shouldn't
8
have,
years, she's been fine,
and
apparently.
she shouldn't have said your stupid husband.
Yeah.
Well, that
That's
part-
objectively wrong
that
as
is-
well.
That's the dumb part
Yeah.
and the jerky part is
Yeah.
that calling somebody's.
She
then-
could have
then
said-
she's calling her sister dumb too because her sister had to lay down and wide them legs or do something. Uh-oh.
Let's keep this G
Don't
rated.
get me demonetized.
Let's keep this G rated. But she could have said, again, don't you think you ought to like wait a few more days? Or hours? I mean, give it a couple of minutes.
Right. I'm just shocked it's
At least her
twins.
sister didn't say that she was pregnant every Sunday.
I mean, I don't think she's got any room to be even concerned, upset, or to voice any kind of opinion at all.
It's not her.
Unless her
family.
last pregnancy was difficult.
And it doesn't seem like they've been difficult. She's been doing it for the last 8 years. If they had concerns about her being in a difficult position, they wouldn't have done it, right?
And she could have said it privately if she really was concerned.
Yeah.
If she
she's
had any
around
kind of tact at
all
all.
of the family.
She had zero tact.
None whatsoever.
Maybe she was trying to get pregnant and she can't get pregnant.
That could be it. That could be a thing. Someone said, you're the butthole. When you said, I said out loud, oh my gosh, again, rude and butthole behavior, but somewhat understandable. But then you said, can't your stupid husband leave you alone? What is wrong with you? You said this out loud and you still think you may not be the butt? Get out of here with that nonsense. Am I the butt for only going to black salons? Hi there. This is my first post, and this is a throwaway. I am a 30-year-old white woman with thick, curly brown hair. 3C is if you know what that means. Do you know what that means? Do
What
you
does
know
that
what
mean?
that means?
No.
Okay.
It's the texture type of curl that you got.
And is it very thick?
Mm.
Yeah. I have always struggled with my hair and was adopted into a family of people with straight hair who
She's
couldn't.
got 3C?
I do? Wow. Well, I never knew that because you do all my hair, and I'm okay with that.
I did 3 now.
You're on camera. Stop chewing on your fingers.
She was adopted into a family with people
Gone.
of people with straight hair who couldn't care for my hair properly, leading to huge knots and regularly getting my hair massacred by scissors to make it short to be easier to deal with. When I went to uni, I met my best friend who is black and has a similar hair type to me, and when noticing my struggle, helped me out. She showed me hair products from brands intended for black people that really helped my hair with my hair quality, and even took me to the salon that she went to that catered for black hair types. My hair has been amazing ever since. They've been the only people to understand how to care for my hair and make it look nice. Well, onto the actual argument. Me and my friend and some friends from work went out for dinner, and we were talking about our hair, and I commented that I'd go to a salon that specializes in black hair care. One of the women, also white, commented that it was inappropriate for me as a white woman to take advantage of black products and services that should only be used by black people. When I asked why, she said that it's kind of cultural appropriation. The others there agreed with her, and I felt uncomfortable ever since. I don't know if she's right and if I'm in the wrong. I don't even know what I'd do if I was wrong, as I don't want to go back to the salons that butchered my hair before. Am I the butthole?
So
Yes,
just-
absolutely. 100% for having friends like that.
Please. They're just your work friends.
Lose the friends
Yeah.
and go to the hair salon that you
had us in the
choose.
first half, didn't he, Mom? He had us in the first half, gave us back in the second.
Yes, you're the butt for even worrying about these friends. Lose the friends and go back to the hair salon as often as you wish.
No kidding. Why go to something that's gonna make you hair? You mean tell me can't nobody white go to anybody black and can't nobody black go to anybody white?
Apparently these less than intelligent
These
people.
work friends think so. Someone said, not the butthole, a black woman here with 4C hair. You use the products and resources that best suit your needs. It wouldn't be black versus white issue if the beauty industry recognized the need and taught students how to do all types of hair.
Besides,
They do.
in
They try to.
when you go get never mind.
Am I the butt for making my baby laugh at a restaurant?
Yes, you don't need to go any further. It's obnoxious. You're not in your living room.
Yeah.
You need to
I
grow
have
up.
fun. Why do you teach your child to be civilized?
I don't need to hear
and-
any more.
Done with this conversation. Go to the next one.
No, finish it. It was my wife's birthday yesterday. She picked out a mid-tier restaurant to go to for her birthday. This was no Chili's level, but not high-end either. We went at 5:30 on a Wednesday, so not that busy. We have the 10-month-old who's just about the happiest kid ever. Nearly anything I do makes him laugh. Well, at dinner I was making him laugh. He'd throw in some happy yelling, maybe got a touch loud, but he was in a great mood. Well, the table next to us had an issue with what I was doing and asked me to stop. They told us to keep it down. I'm like, he's laughing, that's all. Him laughing is an issue? They just repeat that he's too loud. If he's going to be like that, they suggested we stay home. I tell them to leave us alone and continue making my son laugh. I overheard them reference me as a butt. They requested to move tables and did. But was I the butt for making my baby laugh? This was a 3 to 5 minute interaction with my son while waiting for the check. It was 90% giggling. The other hour plus that we were there, it was just him being quiet or eating or babbling over and over. There was no extended shrieking at all that occurred.
If it was truly 3 to 5 minutes, I can't imagine anybody even noticing that quickly to care. So I think she's vastly underestimating just how long of an obnoxious
This was
person
the
they were.
husband making the baby laugh.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not in your living room. You are in a public setting. Other people want to have supper too, and they don't want to have supper with you. And they don't want to have supper in your living room, and they're paying good money for the ambiance, and you're destroying that ambiance.
It's just
It's
like
cute
the people.
for a couple minutes,
Yeah.
and then it's
Right,
over
then
with.
it's obnoxious.
Exactly.
3 to 5 minutes is obnoxious. I think maybe 1 to 2 minutes is cute. After that, it's obnoxious when you're trying to have a good meal. It's just because you're waiting for the check doesn't mean everybody else is.
Yeah, remember that one table that we were
That's what I
at?
was talking about. Bob,
They
what
were
was it? Bob Ross?
so-
No, it's not Bob Ross. What was the place? Bob Evans.
Bob Evans. They were so
It's just
obnoxiously
like-
loud.
The people
Yeah.
right next to us.
Right
Yeah,
behind
but
us.
they were sitting like from you to me.
It
That's
was
what,
so
how
awful.
close it was.
But it was like, it's just like if a table talks obnoxiously loud the entire time they're eating. It's equally obnoxious.
Yeah.
You should keep the level of your talk and of your
Inside
like
voices.
communication to your table. If other people are annoyed by it, you're talking too loud.
Yeah.
You're babbling too loud.
You need to have self-awareness. You can't impose upon other people.
Your conversation.
That's your problem, and you're making it everyone's problem.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not fair.
I have a problem.
Yeah, I get that some people are like, it's just a baby, they're laughing, but you don't realize that everybody else is trying to have a good time in the same place. Babies can come to restaurants. There are some people who are like, babies should never come to a restaurant. Babies should never be anywhere public. And I think that's going way too far. All I know is that if you have a baby that's super loud like all the time, maybe you should think about just going to family restaurants instead of like what you call a mid-tier restaurant where people have to pay more than where you would go to like McDonald's or something.
Yes.
Someone said, you're dining in a restaurant, you need to moderate your voices. The people at the next table don't want to hear your conversation, and they don't want to be continually disturbed by happy shrieks of your baby either. You're not the butt for making your baby happy. You're the butt for making too much noise in a restaurant.
Yeah, I would have ended it. You're not the butt for making your baby happy. You're the butt for making your baby happy in a restaurant.
Am I the butt for telling the parents of my 8-year-old niece that her art is less important than mine?
Yeah.
So far, I'm you've lost me. So far, I'm not on your side.
I'm an artist. The majority of my income is tabling at conventions like Comic-Con. We're well versed in this. I work hard, not to toot my own horn, but I'm skilled, invested a lot of time and money, and that rewards me with a good income and a cool job. My niece is starting to draw, mostly anime characters. She has an iPad and a program I use because she wants to be like me, and that's cool. There's a big convention, my biggest moneymaker, highest stress event in my calendar, long days, long weekend, high cost, high reward. Niece loves anime, so family is going too. Week before, I get a call. They've made prints of niece's art and want to put them on my table. I said they could have a little space. Day 1, they left her with me to be a little helper. She stood in front of my table directing people to her prints. I lost a lot of sales. People wanted to look at her art and coo at the adorable child, but that resulted in people blocking my table. Day 2, I said I wouldn't babysit, I had a table to run. Her parents stayed, which was much worse. They blocked the table and accosted anyone who came up to me, interrupting people from buying from me just to talk about the niece. I was stressed and tired, I'm ashamed, I barely stood up for myself. Every time I tried, I was told off. I had a panic attack all Saturday as potential customers were grabbed away by my aunt and uncle. Day 3, they left. Niece or overwhelmed, and her parents were mad at me. Day 3 is slow, but made the most money, so yeah, glad they weren't there. Usually I make 3 months rent as this con, footfall and hype were high. I barely broke even. They want to bring her to the next one, take more table space, more merch. She sold a dozen prints. I'm proud of her for that, but events can cost thousands, and I can't afford to finance her. I put my foot down. If this was another job, you couldn't force take your niece to work day, but because art is a hobby, they've pushed the boundary. They argue I should be a role model, I'm jealous of the attention, I'm afraid of the competition, I'm selfish for thinking I'm better, etc. I got angry and said, yes, my art is better, it's my income. It's good enough to sell. They said she needs me, as she wouldn't be accepted if she applied to cons herself. I said there's a reason for that. It was mean, but also true. This is my job, I won't compromise it. She could do art fairs, like I said, easier stuff to them. I offered to take her to small events, but that enraged them. I'm not her parents' ticket to her fame and fortune. They bring up my follower count and think I should leverage it for her benefit, but that puts a major dip in my engagement. Family thinks I am the butt. Am I?
In a word, no. I think the parents ought to be footing half the bill, if not more, in order to put her into the show, or they should be trying, or whatever. But they're taking, from the sound of it, they're taking zero risk and expecting reward,
Everything.
and that's not fair.
Taking advantage of.
And you know, when it is somebody's income and they need it in order to pay for rent, pay for food, pay for electricity, that's quite an imposition to do.
They should have just did their own booth.
Yeah, but they said, "Oh, we need your help because she won't be accepted if she applies herself, and it costs so much money."
The fact that they weren't taking any risk at all. They were taking zero risk, and in reality, they shouldn't have even been there. This is a booth. This is her job, it's her income, and everything that is fine. I had the pictures presented and put on the desk or put on the board or whatever. And if somebody buys it, then they can have some encouragement that somebody thought that the artwork was good enough to purchase without knowing who was the one that drew it.
Right.
Even if they would have offered to pay for half of it, they're not offering to pay for half the rent.
Right.
And they're not offering for paying for the lost sales. And the lost sales are more than the rent.
Yeah.
Otherwise she wouldn't be doing this, right?
Right.
So there's far more investment on her part and zero investment on the parents' part. So they really don't have a leg to stand on. They're 100% in the wrong.
They should have offered her some money, like a booth rental, so that she wouldn't have lost something. I mean, she would have gained something on their behalf.
Because even paying for half the rent doesn't cover the lost sales, right? And that's the point of it.
Right, because she could have sold out her entire booth if they weren't there, but she wasn't allowed to sell what she could have sold.
I somewhat fault her, and I would have said no. I would have just said no. I said, no, this is my job.
Right.
You know, you gonna pay my rent?
Unless you're gonna pay.
You gonna pay my rent? If you're gonna pay my rent, I'll let you have a spot.
It was
You
hard.
had a whole table underneath my name.
So that was that. Who do you think was the worst offender? Out of
The
all?
restaurant woman,
The person who forgot.
wallet woman,
Yeah, you think that she's
the biggest offender, the wallet woman.
Hole?
Well, of course, she's a mooch.
Yeah.
So she asked who was the biggest jerk. That's the biggest jerk.
Really? Who do you think, Dad?
No, I'd agree with that.
Really? I thought the friends who told her that she couldn't go to a black salon were pretty
Oh
awful.
no, I guess
We're pretty awful.
No,
All right. I'd have to go with you on that. They showed no intelligence whatsoever.
None.
well, yeah, that's no intelligence at all.
Yeah.
I don't even understand cultural appropriation. I mean,
I know. You're just getting your hair done. If it's your hair, it's your
Exactly.
hair. Well, thank you so much for joining me for these stories. I'm glad you guys were able to come back together. We'll have to do some other things later, like maybe Jeopardy again, or maybe some challenges like we used to do. But this was great. This was fun. So if you guys want to hear any more Am I the Butthole stories, please comment down below. Tell us what you want us to read and talk about. Make sure you guys like this video so I can bring other things to you guys, bring more stuff to you, and share this with all your friends so they can see it too. Share it, share it, share it. And make sure you give this channel a huge subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. Make sure you are notified for new videos that come out every Wednesday at 12 and every Friday at 12. And guess what? Soon, more Spider-Man content will come your way. So thank you guys so much for watching. You've been watching Nerdosity, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Right?